What's going on, you guys? Paul here from Bike Nerds, coming at you guys with another video. And in this one, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, I've been talking about doing this for a couple years now, and it's about time we start doing it. So as you can see, got the quad behind me. It's got it loaded up with some tools, and what we're going to be doing today in this one is we're going to be doing some trail work. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the dirt jumps that are on my property, and we're going to have a good look at them, and we're going to say our final goodbyes, because after today, they're all getting redone. So let's go check them out. All right, so walking, this is the end of the path. This is gonna stay because this jump is fine. And I'm kind of limited to what I can do with this one because, as you can see, I got this giant tree root that kind of grows and it goes underneath this. So as far as replacing this jump with a wooden one, might be kind of tricky because I would have to actually build it around this root, but doable. But in the past day and a half, there used to be a jump right there. That jump is now gone, and I took all that dirt, basically stacked it onto this landing here, making this landing about, I'd say, another foot taller. And basically what we're doing here is getting rid of the dirt jumps and making way for these wooden takeoffs. I got this one here, all this stuff right here. This landing here is getting redone, taken out. These rollers are probably going to get taken out and at least moved somewhere else. As you can see, I got another wooden booter ready to take place of this one here, and as you can see, this one is a little bit worse for wear. I kind of already started to tear into these a little bit, so it seems like every year I have to come out here and spend a good, few hours just kind of bringing them back up to snuff. And Mother Nature just has its way of breaking stuff down. So the idea with replacing them with these wooden ones is just less maintenance, more consistency, and just more fun. So anyway, this is a before video, just to kind of show what we had. I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing all this stuff down, making way for the new. All right, so these are pretty much the tools of the trade. You got your spade shovel, which is great for cutting up and just kind of moving dirt. You got your flat shovel, which is great for moving lots of dirt in one scoop, and it also works great for packing down jumps and landings. Got your rake here, which is great for smoothing stuff out and getting rocks and stuff out of your dirt. And you also got a pickaxe here, which really comes in handy just for, I guess, demolition work. Just if you're like, I'm about to start destroying these jumps, so this pickaxe is pretty much going to be the star of the show. I'm just going to start going to town with that thing. And although not exactly necessary, but any way to contain and transport your dirt, a wheelbarrow, this little trailer here, which I'm very fortunate to have. I mean, even a 5-gallon bucket. We used to build dirt jumps back in the woods, literally filling 5-gallon buckets full of dirt and just moving the buckets of dirt around. So with these 3 tools alone, you can build some pretty sick trails. I also got the garden hose already ran all the way back there, because anytime you're building trails, having water is always a great necessity. So anyway, let's get to it. All right, so I figured I'd hit you guys with a quick update. The takeoff is completely gone. And yeah, that was honestly the first jump that I'd ever made on this little trail here. And as you can see, I used a lot of crappy dirt. Basically, a lot of sand, but I got this landing pretty much all tore up and broken down, and pretty much all the sand from this takeoff is right there. Got that roller tore up. About to tear that roller out of there and basically use all this dirt here to just make one big landing to go ahead and get me lined up with the takeoff to the second one. So hey guys, I figured I'd hit you guys with a quick update. As you can see, I've got 3 logs currently stacked in place trying to form this landing. It's right at about 29-30 inches tall, and I'm even considering adding another log and trying to make it around 36-38 inches tall, just so I could have a nice decent landing. But anyway, basically I got to keep going, backfilling all this stuff here, and just kind of forming a landing out of this. And then once we got our landing good, then we can go ahead and start getting our jump into place. And yeah, anyway, it's coming along, you guys. All right, gang, so I got pretty much the landing starting to take shape. I'm just busting down all these big chunks of clay, wetting them up, making it so I can work with it. That way I can get the sides and everything all packed nice. And I think I'm gonna have enough dirt here to basically shape this side. And I'm also gonna have to like I said, there's no way around it. I'm gonna have to get rid of that roller, and I'm probably gonna use the remainder of that dirt there to finish up this side. And I'll probably even have some left over, because what people don't realize is to make rollers takes a lot of dirt. Same with berms. Landing's looking pretty sweet. Nice wide. I think it's about 62 inches wide. As you can see, I got the logs all packed in there. I took some clay, wet it down, made like a, you know, basically a wet clay, and just packed in all those seams. And that really locks all these logs into place. Like those things, especially once it dries, it ain't gonna go anywhere. It's like cement in there. But yeah, I'm still shaping the sides a little bit on this one, and then like I said, gotta fill in that side and we'll pretty much be done. So anyway, I'm gonna keep chipping away until the weather gets bad. So who knows, it might just blow over and we can keep going. But anyway, just a quick update. All right, guys, so here it is, day 2. A little bit of an overcast day. We got some rain overnight, which actually helped the dirt out a lot. So just gonna continue working on these. When I left you guys last, we pretty much just had to finish shaping up that landing there a little bit, and then just kind of get everything into position. So I'm gonna use what little bit of a nice weather I have, because we're supposed to get from what the weather's saying, we're supposed to get a thunderstorm later. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep, you know, moving this dirt around, shaping this landing. And yeah, I'll check in a moment. All right, gang, so as you can see, got the landing pretty well shaped, just the way I want it. As you can see, it's kind of like the head of an axe. Kind of like starts a little narrower and then kind of widens out, just to give you a little bit of leeway in case you land a little crooked or something, give you a little bit of way to run out sideways if you have to. But that thing is pretty much good to go. Got the sides all packed in nice, and everything's good to go with that. And I even threw a couple layers of top dressing on it and tried to pack it down the best I could. But the problem I'm running into now is, like I said, the rain is really starting to pick up, and the dirt that I'm trying to work with has become, you know, really saturated to the point where it's almost oversaturated, to where, like, when I'm trying to pack it down with my feet or even the shovel, you know, it just kind of, you know, there's a lot of clay content in this dirt, so it's just more or less just sticking to my shoes and to the bottom of the shovel. So today is kind of a bust, I guess, in that regard, as far as, like, you know, what I can do. But hey, at least I got a little bit done, and this landing is pretty much, so this landing is pretty much done. Just got to continue packing it. But yeah, like I said, the rain is starting to pick up. So, and I checked the radar again, it's literally on its way. So I think I'm gonna call it for today. Just gonna go ahead and cover up what I got going on here. I'll report back tomorrow. All right, you guys, so it's a brand new day, and as you can see, got some real nice weather to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the jump line. Now, last time I left you guys, pretty much had the first takeoff in place and had the first landing done, and pretty much I just got to smooth around the outskirts a little bit, and then I got to get the second takeoff put in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and bust out the shovels and let's get to it. All right, so last time we were out here, we got this landing pretty much all taken care of. Got that first takeoff put into position. The only thing that I really got to focus on now is getting this into position where I need it. I've kind of already got it set in place to where I think it's going to work. Like I said, we got this landing all taken care of, but over here, as you can see, this is all pretty torn up from the removal of those rollers that were once there. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to get some of this dirt out of here, smooth it out, so we can have our bypass trail to continue on and hit that little jump there. Because that little jump right there is always a nice little warm-up, you know. This, if you haven't ridden for a while, just come out here, rip this thing a couple times, just get the feel for the bike again, and then you can go ahead and start playing on the big boys. So, all right, so at this point, I've got the bypass completely cleared, smoothed out, so now we can hit our warm-up laps. I went and threw a little more top dressing on this landing here and got it smoothed out real nice, so it's nice and smooth now. Just been kind of packing it down. Got that takeoff set into place. I got that gap right now currently set at 8 feet. I got this takeoff also set into place and ready to go. I got that gap set at 9 feet, and that one at the end there, if I recall, that one was just slightly over 10 feet. But yeah, we're pretty much ready to go, you guys. I just been kind of, like I said, just putting some final touches on this landing here, and just kind of plotting it all out in my head, because getting the spacing right in order for everything to just kind of work and flow together, you know, that's going to be the tricky part, especially with this one. This one is quite a takeoff here. This one throws you pretty much straight up into the air. So this one here is pretty chill. like I said, I'm not really worried about this one, and I'm not really worried about this one. What I'm worried about is how all three of them work together. So anyway, I guess the other thing to do at this point is, like I said, I'm just gonna kind of finish packing this down, and it's time to throw the helmet on and give them a try. So let's do it. All right guys, so it's about time to give these things a go, and like I said, I have not hit these ones yet. I've hit each one individually just to kind of test out and see how they work, and I know they work, but the thing is now I got to see, do they all work together? So anytime you're guinea pigging a new jump line, especially one with doubles, it's always kind of nerve-wracking because, like I said, the spacing could be wrong, and if you don't have the spacing right, you could either come up short on any one of these, or even worse off, come up short on this one. So until I've actually rolled through them all and hit them all, you know, it's all a guessing game at this point. So like I said, I got the helmet strapped up for safety. Let's go ahead and give these things a go and see how they work, if they work. Alright, so they work, kinda. I think my spacing might be off. I think my spacing might be off a little bit because I overshot this second landing pretty far, but that was just the first try. I'm gonna go ahead and give them another go. All right guys, so as of now, first one and the second one definitely work. You know, hit that one at a moderate speed, it sets you up just right for this one, sends you right up and over. The problem is I honestly don't think that I'm landing with enough speed to continue on and capture this third one. So I might have to play with some spacing a little bit, but in the meantime, they are somewhat working. Only hit them twice so far, and like I said, this one is a freaking moon booter. This one's more or less just a kind of a whoop-de-doo, but yeah, they're definitely working. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep plugging away. We'll see if we can continue on and get this third one here. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set up kind of like a makeshift, I guess, case pad. So like I said, I'm gonna try to send all three of them and link all three of them together. However, I really am kind of worried that I may come up short. So like I said, I'm gonna set up a quick little, just you know, case pad using a sheet of plywood and maybe a sawhorse or two, and I'll go ahead and try to link all three of them. So all right, so I kind of got a cheater setup going here. Got some sawhorses set up, 4x8 sheet of plywood. That way, you know, I kind of bought myself a little bit of a case pad in case I come up short on this third one. So like I said, I know the first one and second one work great, but it's this third one. I have yet to link this third one in, and I personally feel at this point, with the speed I'm achieving through the first and the second one, in order to clear both of them, you know, fluidly and not overshoot them, I almost think I don't have enough speed to continue on and get this last one here. So that's what we're here to determine. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. And like I said, as kind of a safety net, set up my little case pad. Basically bought myself another 4 feet of landing just to help me out in case I come up short. So anyway, let's go ahead and give them a try. That was scary. I don't think this is gonna work. Alright guys, so I was just able to successfully link all three of them together. However, they do not really flow very well, and I think basically what the trouble is this one, the second one, more or less just throws you straight up into the air. And as I review the video, it looks like I'm pretty much not necessarily overshooting this landing, but it seems like my front tire is landing pretty much like right here at the very end, when I should be touching down more or less at the top of the landing there. So pretty much I'm only catching about, you know, the last 2 or 3 feet of this landing, which really isn't providing me with enough area to pump down this transition to carry enough speed to get this third one. Like I said, granted, I've successfully gotten it a couple of times, but it just feels really awkward you have to actually like work to get over it, and I would much prefer it to just, you know, simply just flow. The fact that I'm overshooting this landing, it feels like, leads me to believe that I need to move this takeoff back maybe another, I don't know, foot or so, and maybe just like I said, keep playing with the spacing a little bit. And once I get the spacing dialed, you know, we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and break that up a little bit. I'm gonna move this back a little bit, and then we'll try it again. All right, you guys, so at this point, I moved this takeoff back about a good foot, a good 12 inches. So right now this gap is right over, or this gap I should say, is right over 9 feet. And this one here, I also went ahead and moved this takeoff back just a little bit. So this gap is currently like 8 foot 6 inches. And I just think, like I said, I think the little bit of added space between this one and that one will help us, you know, catch transition on that second landing good enough to where we can get a nice solid pump out of it. It'll send us right through to the third one with no fuss. So anyway, you guys, like I said, I'm still in the experimental phase, still trying them out, but you know, as of now they kind of work, but I want to make them like really work. So anyway, you guys, let's go ahead and give it a go. All right, so that's a little bit better, but still I feel like I'm not really catching the transition of the second landing enough. But that was just the first go. Sorry about the camera angle, but yeah, let's go ahead and give it another try. All right, guys, so as of now, everything is working, all right? Able to successfully first, second, third one. However, when I review the videos, it still looks like I'm landing pretty much at the bottom of this landing here. So, like I said, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and move this takeoff back another couple inches. Just keep playing with the spacing until we get it right. So, all right, guys, so at this point in the game, I went ahead, moved this takeoff back. I got this gap set at right around 10 foot, and same goes with the takeoff. On this first one here, got this gap set right about just shy of 9 foot. It's like at 8 foot 10 inches. So hopefully that will give us enough, you know, speed to kind of just flow right through them. Because right now what I'm experiencing is I'm getting through the first one and the second one, no problem. But that third one there, you know, it feels like I'm having to really work to get over it. So I got everything moved back, got everything packed down. As you guys can probably see, I moved this one back another, I don't know, 8 or so inches. So yeah, I really don't want to move this thing back any further, but anyway, you know, we got to do what we got to do to get them to work. So the only thing left to do is give them a try. So let's do it. All right, guys, so I just gave them a go and they're working now. Moving these takeoffs back and giving that little extra bit of space allows me to flow through this line with a little bit more speed. Yeah, anyway, everything's working. Everything's working. All right, guys, so at this point, everything is working great. First one sets you up just perfectly for the second one here. And the second one, although it's pretty intimidating, lofts you straight up into the air. And you pretty much, the last few times I've hit this one, I've caught this transition of the landing absolutely perfect. Get a nice pump, clear all three of them. So yeah, I just had to play with the spacing a little bit, but as of now, everything is working. So let's go ahead and give them a go. All right, guys, so they're working. They're working really good. So now it is time to get rid of our safety net and just go for it. So like I said, I've hit them about 5 or 6 times already and haven't touched the case pad yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this whole thing out of here, and then we'll be doing it for real this time. So all right, y'all, so the safety net is out of there. Now we got the full 10-footer there, and we got these ones working great. Everything seems to be flowing really nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it a go without the old safety net. All right, so I'm running into a little bit of an issue. As I mentioned, there used to be a takeoff right there, and I used all the dirt from the takeoff to build up this landing here. But one of the things I forgot to do, and kind of a critical part, is when I stacked this new log on top, I didn't pack it in there with any clay to lock in that log like I did with the landing over there. So as you can see, as a result, just from the impact of landing right there, it's kind of packing the dirt. It's kind of blowing this back of this landing out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a few minutes to chop this all up, wet it down, chop it up, lock that log in there, and pack this landing down a little more, because like I said, I kind of rushed on this landing here, and like I said, I used kind of crappy dirt. So this landing is needing a little bit more love, but that one over there is pretty dialed. So anyway, I'm gonna get to it. All right, so I got this landing all dialed in, so hopefully we don't have any more issues with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let it firm up, because I had to wet it down quite a bit to pack it in. Also did a little bit of touching up on that landing over there. So sun's starting to go down, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. But yeah, as you can see, got that log really locked in there now. So hopefully it'll just stay there. We don't have any more issues with it. All right, guys, so here it is the next day. And when I left you guys last time, we pretty much touched up the landing on the second jump that we blew out. While I was at it, I also touched up this landing on this third jump as well, because over time, the erosion, just kind of water running off this jump, just kind of wears this area at the end of the carpet way down. So, you know, threw some more dirt in there, got that all packed down nice. So smoothed out that transition a little better. But we got this landing here pretty well dialed in now. As you can see, I got it shaped and packed down really nice. So hopefully we don't have any more issues with the back blown out. Takeoff is set up perfect. So we know our spacing is good because we tested it the previous day, and we know everything's working. And this landing here is also good to go. So everything is pretty much flowing and working good. I guess the only thing to do now is just go ahead, strap on the lid, and give it a session. So let's get it. All right, so I just did a few warm-ups, feeling pretty good. I think it's time for the big ones now, so let's get it. All right, guys, so I've been out here for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, half hour, just sessioning, and they're working so good, you guys. Like literally, this thing right here is probably my favorite one. This one was a little scary at first, but now that I got the feel for it, I almost want to make all of them feel exactly like that, because that one just tosses you. It feels so nice. But yeah, man, everything is working. Not only is it working, it's working really good. Like, it flows really nice. I'm actually starting to wear the path back in. I haven't really been riding too much this summer, you guys. I've been more or less just concentrated on my house and working on doing some home repair stuff, but I've just been itching to ride lately. So I've had that second takeoff built for a few years now, and I've only hit it a handful of times. Now it is a permanent resident. I made this one, I don't know, about a week ago. Now this one is also a permanent resident. This landing is pretty dialed. I'm almost considering making this landing another log taller. I'll just make it a little steeper, which will thus give me more speed to carry on to the second one, and maybe I'll even be able to move that one back even further. So yeah, as of now, I'm thrilled with the way this is running. Everything's working really good. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing, you guys. All right, so for anybody wondering what the rig I'm riding is, this is a 2000, I believe it's a 2019 or 2020 Specialized P3 dirt jumper. And other than the pedals that were added to it, this bike is pretty much bone stock as it comes from Specialized. Heavy coil fork, but you know what, it does what it needs to do. I do plan on eventually upgrading to an air fork, but you know, I just got to squirrel away $1,000 for it. So in the meantime, I'm just riding it. Really enjoy this bike. Buddy of mine sold this to me, I want to say in about 2020 or 2021, and he bought it brand new. Took it to raise a handful of times and took it to some pump tracks, and just kind of realized that the dirt jumper really wasn't his thing. So yeah, he asked me if I'd be interested in it, and of course I was interested in it. So ended up snagging it at a really good price, and it's been a great bike. Like I said, future upgrades, possibly a fork in the future, but as of now, I've been riding it for years, and you know, it's served me well. So anyway, that's the rig, you guys. All right, you guys, so I've been out here jamming on these things for better part of an hour already, and these things are working so good. Like spacing, landings, everything is just so dialed right now. Ground is nice and firm, so these things are just rolling right along. No issues whatsoever. As you can see, I got the path starting to wear in again. So been off the bike for a little while, but now that I got these set up in the yard, gives me a little more motivation to actually get out here and ride. So I've been meaning to get these put up for better part of a year already. I've had, like I said, I've had the one done for a couple years, and that was the original plan with building it, was to replace the dirt takeoffs with the wooden ones. I'm almost considering doing away with this third dirt one and replicating that second one, because I just love the way that second takeoff feels. That thing is a moon booter. That thing just throws you straight up into the sky. It's such a fun feeling jump. So, and the thing I'm happy about is now that we got those wooden takeoffs in place, I'm not going to have to come out here and spend as much time you know, upkeeping and maintaining everything. I'll just be able to come out here and ride and have fun. So that was kind of the goal behind the idea. Hopefully this video motivated some of you guys to get out there and make some trails of your own, because it seems like dirt jumps and just dirt trails are just kind of a dying art, you know. Back when I was growing up, we had sets of trails all over the place. We had at least 10 to 15 different sets of trails within a 10-20 mile radius that we could all go ride at our disposal. And it just seems like everything has been either plowed, the land has been developed, and or nobody rides their bikes anymore. So I'm grateful to have these in my yard at my disposal to ride whenever I want. And like I said, from where we started to where we're at now, we've definitely come a long way. But anyway, you guys, until the next one, this is Paul from Bike Nerds signing out. I'll see you in the next one.